guys, how you doing? I hope everything is well. Everything is good with me. Here we go. We have a mass powering by teenagers. All teenagers. This is so sad because we are losing our young ones to the streets. Like for real. They are definitely from the streets. This is so sad that this is beginning to be the norm. But anyway, it was 4 teenagers charged in Spotsylvania County mass powering. 4 teenagers were arrested and charged Wednesday morning following a powwow in Spotsylvania County, Virginia, that left 3 young men deceased and 3 people wounded, according to the sheriff. The Spotsylvania Sheriff Office received calls about a powwowing just outside of Fredericksburg in the area of Old Greenwood Drive and Lafayette Boulevard around 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Deputies responded to find multiple people pow at the townhouse complex following what they now believe was an illegal gun sale and robbery. So now they was planning on buying some pows and robbing them at the same time. Okay. According to a Wednesday morning news release, 3 men was deceased and 3 people was wounded, including at least one of the suspects who was 16 years old. The department identified 2 of the men who passed away as Chase Fester and Alfonso Ruffy. Both was 18 years old and Spottsville County resident. The third man was 20-year-old. Deputies are waiting to publicize named him until his identity is confirmed by the medical examiner's office. In a Facebook post, Sheriff Robert Harris said, "All suspects are in custody, and there is no threat to the public safety." Two of the teens facing charges are 16-year-old and 17-year-old, and one 18-year-old, Jeremiah Upson, according to the sheriff. One of the 16-year-old is being treated for a pow wound at a local hospital. All 4 lived nearby Fredericksburg, with 2 being Spottsville County residents, and the other 2 Caroline County residents, according to the sheriff's office. The Spotify Sheriff Office said the 4 teens had been charged with malice, wounding, and use of firearm and commission of felony unlawfully assembling. 3 of the suspects was taken into custody with no bond. No bond. Deputy said the 4th will be charged after he's released from the hospital. Golden, a reporter with WTOP partner at 7 News, report that witnesses on the scene described the powwowing sound like a machine gun. A machine gun. They said the guns was about this big. Y'all feel me? They said them things was like this big. Okay. And they said it had seemed like the young men walking down the street with the pows in their hands. They walking down the street with the pows this big, long, just that's crazy. The mass powering prompted dozens of officers to respond to the scene Tuesday as law enforcement searched for the suspect and worked to preserve the crime scene, according to the news. Elizabeth Spot, spokesman for the Spottsville Sheriff Office. We will stay out. They said they will stay out there until the suspects are caught, Scott said on Tuesday evening before the teens was taken into custody. This is this is probably as bad as it could get. You're right. They so young. Like following the pow in Fredericksburg City Public Schools said classes would start 2 hours late Wednesday in the light of the profound impact this incident had on the members of our school community. This delay will all will allow us the necessary time to prepare our building and staff to work with students with the care and support they need during this difficult time. An hour later, a 2 hour delay was also at Spottersville County Public School for Wednesday, so support can be put in place for both students and staff. As as part of this support, each of the high schools will have additional duties and presence from sheriff office. Read a SCP statement. This is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. They showing you a map, like what happened here. This is crazy, y'all. I'm gonna show you the video how they was just walking just as they want to be, just as nice as they want to be. Hold on.
In the neighborhood where all of this madness happened last night, as you can see behind me are some of the homes that were damaged in the crossfire from that shootout. Some of the residents are also just reacting to everything that they saw. You'll hear from some of them in a bit. They tell me that right now they're just shaken up. Tuesday evening around 5:30, chaos erupts in a small neighborhood near Old Greenwich Circle in Spotsylvania County. A mass shooting leaving 3 dead and multiple wounded. And the people who live nearby in a state of disbelief.
I don't know, I ain't never heard nothing like that.
In the daylight hours, the damage from that shootout becoming more apparent to residents like Rodney.
It's not like one of the Call of Duty games or something. It was just at least 100 shots going off. That's what it sounded like, just back to back to back to back.
Bullets from automatic and other heavy weapons penetrating shutters, bricks, windows, and even vehicles. Video could be seen Tuesday of 2 suspects running with weapons in hand. And our John Burkett captured some of the suspects being arrested at a nearby Sheetz. According to the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office, early Wednesday morning, 4 people were charged with malicious wounding and use of a firearm in commission of a felony unlawful assembly. 3 of those suspects, minors, 2 16-year-olds and a 17-year-old, in addition to an 18-year-old who has been identified as Jeremiah Upson, who appeared in court Wednesday for an arraignment hearing. One of those 16-year-olds is currently at a local hospital being treated for a gunshot. At this time, the investigation reveals that the barrage of gunfire was the result of an illegal gun sale and robbery. Rodney counting his blessings that the children in this neighborhood were inside while hoping that life can somehow return to normal.
It's kids out. Usually it is kids out here. Usually my little sisters out here playing. Usually other people kids out here playing. It luckily was nobody out here.
At this point, we received a call, multiple calls at 5:30 p.m. from the area of Old Greenwich Circle, which is in Spotsylvania County, in reference to multiple shots that were fired. Upon deputies' arrival, they found multiple gunshot victims. 3 of the victims were confirmed deceased on scene. 3 other victims were transported to local hospitals. It is still a very fluid scene. Multiple investigators are still there trying to determine who the suspects were and what the motive is. At this point in time, I don't know that we have any suspects in custody. So we're asking the public to please stay clear of the area, let the investigators do their job, and stay inside their homes. At this point, because we do not have anybody in custody, it is still considered an active shooter situation. We do have drones up in the air. They may have seen people in the woods, residents coming out. It is an active shooter situation, so we are going to be actively looking for an armed subject or subjects. We have nearly all of our detectives out right now looking for the suspects, and we will stay looking for these suspects. We have multiple other agencies assisting with us. The city of Fredericksburg, the police department is also assisting, as well as Virginia State Police. We will stay out here until the suspects are caught.
Hey guys, how you doing? I hope everything is well. Everything is good with me. Y'all, I was waiting for this moment when they had mistakenly took Garcia to El Salvador, deported him. I was praying for him because I was like, oh my God. Now mind you, he is an Salvadorian. He is one. But he did come to America, to U.S. Illegally, but he did go to court and they won, and they say he could stay here. So I don't know how they mistakenly pick him up with the other guys from wherever the hell they was from. But my thing is this here, like I said the other day, you have your ID on you and everything, so they're not checking to find out if you live here or if you don't. And plus, they were saying that he was part of the MS-13. They were saying a bunch of stuff about him, like lying and all this stuff. Like, what you doing all that for one man? He got a whole job here. He got a whole family here. Like, that's just crazy. And you know it was a mistake. And why is it so hard to get him back here? That's what I'm not understanding that. They said they wanted a deadline for him to be back here. They said Monday. I knew that they wasn't gonna do that. Because they're going to be like, you ain't going to tell us what to do. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you have the embassy there. So he could go to the embassy to be safe. And then very easily take him to the airport. Give him an airplane ticket. And let him come on home. What is the big deal? I don't understand this. What is the red tape? Y'all messed up. All you had to do is give him a plane ticket so he could bring his behind back home. This is silly. This is silly right now. I really don't understand what's going on here. They said a man mistakenly deported to El Salvador. They say he's alive and secure now because everybody was nervous. I know I was nervous for him because I was like, I don't know if he could hold that. When I saw that prison, y'all, I was like, oh my goodness. They ain't got no shirts on. They just walk around with pants on, and when they put them in handcuffs, let me tell you, it ain't like here. It ain't like here. Hold on one second. Yes, but like I said, I don't know what the holdup is. All they got to do is just get him a plane ticket and let him come on home. This is just so ridiculous. They say the man was mistakenly deported from the state of Maryland to the mega jail in El Salvador, and he's alive and secure. U.S. officials had told a judge the update on Garcia whereabouts came days after the Supreme Court ruled that Trump administration should facilitate his release and return to the U.S. Yes. It says, it is my understanding based on official reports from our ambassador in El Salvador and San Salvador that Garcia is being held in a Territory Confidence Center in El Salvador. So they took him and they put him by himself. Which I'm gonna be real with you. They could have got Garcia and took him to the embassy. You understand? And bought him a plane ticket and let him come on home. What is the problem here? Why is they like still got him in the prison, just putting him somewhere? He like that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. The Department of Michael Kozak said President Trump is due to sit down on Monday with his counterparts from El Salvador, where he has sent more than 200 migrants allegedly for all gang members. The U.S. governor had conceded Mr. Garcia was deported due to an administration error, though it also claims he is a member of the MS-13, which his lawyer denied. So let me just say this here. They saying that he had MS-13, so do he have something on his body that's showing that, or have a record here? Or, not really in Salvador or here. Do he have a record? They said that, because I was wondering, like, how did he get picked up? Was he at work? What was he doing? They said that he got picked up with a group, that they was all hanging out, and they just picked them all up, and he was hanging out with the MS-13s. I don't believe it. Allegedly, I do not believe that he was hanging out with a bunch of MS-13s. I just don't believe it, because guess what? If he was hanging out with a bunch of MS-13s, he would stay. They would keep him over there. We wouldn't want him back. We'd be like, no, you MS-13, you got to out. No, and plus you came illegally. They would have actually not fight for him, for real. That's why I said I know they're lying on him. They're lying on him. The ICE, they're lying. They said he was one of the 238 Venezuelans and 23 Salvadorians that Trump administration deported last month to El Salvador. Notorious, terroristic confinement center under an arrangement between the two countries. He is alive and secure in the faculty, Mr. Kozak added. An immigration judge had granted Mr. Garcia, a Salvadorian, legal protection for deportation in 2019. That's when he was here, and he went to the judge, and they was like, "You can stay. You can stay." Trump administration fought against what? Black and brown, y'all. Listen to this. Trump administration fought against helping Garcia return to the U.S. and argued Maryland District Judge Paula Exney exceeded her authority when she ordered the action. However, the U.S. Supreme Court, which has a 6.3 majority, weighed in on the case this week and anonymously backed the order to help facilitate his release. It was like, Trump, you lost. You're fired. Wait, he was trying to keep the man over there. And he tried to overrule the judge. The judge was like, no, I said bring him back. On Friday, the judge directed Trump administration to provide her with daily updates on which steps were being taken to bring Garcia back to the U.S. She ain't playing no games, y'all. She's like, listen, every day, I want to know what's going on. I said for him to come back. I didn't know they can override Trump, though. Ooh, I didn't know that. In court document, Mr. Garcia's lawyer accused the U.S. government of trying to delay and flout court orders while a man's life and safety is at risk. Garcia is 29, into the U.S. illegally as a teen from El Salvador in 2019. He was arrested with three other men in Maryland and detained by federal immigration authorities. He was circumspectly granted protection from the deportation on the grounds that might be at risk prosecution from local gangs in his hometown. Trump told the reporters this week that if the Supreme Court said bring somebody back, I would do that. I respect the Supreme Court. Yeah. Say something like, wait, y'all. He said, I respect the Supreme Court. His meeting with El Salvador President what's his name? Buckley is due to take place at the White House on Monday. In a post on True social platform, Trump said he was looking forward to it, and thank Buck. I can't say his name. Buckley for accepting some of the most violent alien enemies of the world, referring to those being deported as barbarians. Yo, this dude is bugging. Oh, he just saying some crazy shit. The future is up to President B and his government. Trump said they will never threaten or malice our citizens again. What the hell? But wait. Wait, I just water, y'all. She told Trump, I said, get his behind back here. Do you feel me? So I ain't playing no games with you. So now he was like, I'm all against it. Yo, she let him know, like, don't play. I didn't know that though, y'all. I'm really real with y'all. I did not know a judge got pulled like that. You know what I'm saying? To stop Trump. I'm serious. I am so shocked right now. That's though I'm laughing. But anyway, y'all, I'm gonna show y'all some more clip. But he needed that. Y'all know he needed that. Y'all know he needed that. He needed somebody to smack his hand, like, for real. Let him know, like, bro, you ain't running. You ain't no king around here. You was the president. You're not the king. And what I say goes, like, you're the only person supposed to, like, you know, what they say you're supposed to do. But she let him know. Loving it. All right, y'all. Wait for the small video, y'all. Hit that like button and subscribe, y'all. Oh, my God. All right.
Day on Garcia's location. Fox 5's Nana Saint-Obonsu with the latest. Nana.
Hey, Julie, good evening. So there's a lot developing in this last hour on this Kilmar Abrego Garcia case. But the latest information, according to the Trump administration, is that 29-year-old Kilmar Abrego Garcia is, quote, alive and secure in a terrorism confinement center in El Salvador. And this is all from a source at the United States Embassy in San Salvador. Now, let's catch you up to speed on this case. Almost a month ago, Abrego Garcia was detained and deported by immigration agents to El Salvador. But the government later admitted that it was an administrative error. Since then, attorneys for Garcia and his wife have been fighting to get him back to the United States. The Supreme Court got involved in this back and forth between the Department of Justice and a Maryland district judge for the return of Garcia. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously that the DOJ must facilitate the return of Garcia. Now, District Judge Paula Zanis is requesting daily updates from the DOJ on the following. Where is Garcia? What has the government done so far to bring him back? And what is the government planning to do to carry out the court's order to take steps to bring Garcia back to the United States? Fox 5 spoke with an international attorney on the judge's specific daily order.
The judge is requiring this daily update exactly to put pressure on the government, because the hope from the judge, at least, is that the government is going to ultimately say, okay, we actually do have to comply with this order and we are going to have to do something about this. So the judge is putting pressure on the government, requiring a daily appearance by the government lawyers before this judge and inquiring on a daily basis as to exactly what the government is doing. Obviously, we all hope that the rule of law is followed. The Supreme Court has spoken. The Supreme Court has indicated that the government should follow the district judge's order.
And now, Julie, just moments before the DOJ's update, Garcia's attorney did make a motion looking to hold the Justice Department in contempt, but the government did make today's 5 o'clock deadline, providing the public with the whereabouts of Garcia. But it's important to note that in today's update, they say Garcia is, quote, detained pursuant to the sovereign domestic authority of El Salvador, meaning this could be a challenge bringing Garcia home. We have reached out to Garcia's attorneys on the government's response, and we're waiting to hear back.